Hello, hello. It's time for our semi-monthly treat. We have Norm Winski with us again. It's January 12th, 2021, and I'm told that the stars have some very interesting things in store for us. Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Okay, well, I usually like to come on your show right around a new moon, full moon, or some big events. Well, we got all of the above, but we're going to go back and review what happened at the end of December when we had a full moon right around that time. And then we'll talk about what's the big stuff that's coming up. So the 9th and the 29th of December, we had a full moon, and we also had some energizing of the U.S. natal chart. That's where we take a snapshot of when something began, like our country, on July the 4th, 1776. And so we have, when that happens, we have the stocks, T-bonds, dollar, and then we have a moon, a full moon, new moon. Then we round up the usual suspects, and we look at the financials, grains, precious metals, and since it was in the sign of Cancer, that's silver. And then over the New Year's weekend, we have Jupiter making a 45-degree angle to Neptune, because Jupiter is in Aquarius, that's copper, and because of Neptune, that's oil, and the stocks are the big basket of everything, so they tend to respond to anything and everything. So here we go, we're going to review now. We've got the grains for the full moon, maybe. And we'll see how that worked out. Well, it didn't. These usually work. The grains usually is one of my best categories. Usually work 75-80% of the time, but they didn't care that time. I had a little trouble with my mouse there, and there we go. So they just kept going. So that's a miss on the corn. The copper behaved better. It went down into the New Year's. We're looking for extremes into these windows, these time windows, and then for a reversal works about usually on the average 70-75% of the time. And so there on your copper, it did reverse as expected, and then we had a very nice rally there for the copper. Every penny in copper is worth $250. So if it moved 10 cents, that's $2,500. I think it did just about that. Yeah, so or more, you know. Now if we're going sideways, it's Newton's law. For every action, the opposite equal reaction. We don't do sideways, so we take a pass. If it's going sideways, gold's going sideways. So I put a yellow bar near our window to show you that we're not doing anything. Same thing with the crude oil. Going sideways, you wouldn't have known whether to buy or sell because we're looking for reversal, and it's not going up or not going down. You don't know what to do. Here, this is more a classic pattern here, where you have the OJ going up, up, up into the moon. And then we'd be looking for a top, you would sell there, and you would have made money concentrating on OJ. That's a little OJ joke there, Jeff. All right, silver's going sideways, and so we do nothing. There's your soybeans. All the grains did pretty much the same, but wheat was a little different. Beans just kept going up, and so that's a miss. And then the S&P was going sideways at the moon, but it did rally into the New Year's weekend. And if you sold there on the opening on the 4th of January, on Monday, you would have been very happy within a very short amount of time, because within about 2 hours it dropped over 100 handles. And there's your March bonds going sideways, so we do nothing there. And there's your wheat did come down, and we had a possible low there, but this was a day late. Wheat bottom 2 days earlier. I can be within 1 day, but not 2 days. That makes that a miss. So the dollar's coming down, down, down. That's a miss. This kept going down. Here's your British pound. That worked out okay. You came down right into the moon. And the day before was a few ticks lower. And then on the opening, you would have bought it and made money. If you sold the euro there on the moon, you would have done okay. And the next day, it dropped nicely and you had a nice short-term top there. Here's the yen. Making a low there, and then it rallied sharply, and that was also good. And so our score this time is out of 10 potential signals, 6 winners, 4 misses, 60%. Now we're going to update the chart I showed you back on the 11th and 28th of December when I was last on the 2 previous shows, Jeff. And I had this blue line that I drew back in November for the S&P 500, and you can see the dates are across the top here. There's Monday, November 30th through Thursday, the 31st of December. And I drew that line in advance. And then as we go, I overlay the actual prices. That's the black bars S&P 500 10-minute bar charts on top of that, and the blue line is scaled to roughly fit the actual prices. So that's actually, I think that worked out pretty well. All right, now here's what's coming up. It's the saying this is huge would be an understatement. We got about 4 or 5 really top of the line things here now that are, I don't know, I hate to keep saying huge, but that's the only word I can think of to describe anywhere comes close. We had Saturn line up with Uranus. Now those are outer planets, and those are your big long-term cycles. So they got together last night. So I was looking for some kind of low today, and it looks like we've kind of gotten that kind of a bit of a rally into the close. Now we have a new moon tonight, and so maybe we'd be making a little bit of a top tomorrow. I think you're going to all these big things every day or two. Usually creates a big whipsaw scenario. So I don't think any of these trends are going to last very long. Except in the bigger picture, when you take them all together, this might be a big change in trend week. We'll have to see when we get to the end of the week. Then we had the new moon, and we're going to be looking at, of course, your usual suspects, financials, grains, precious metals, and because of the Capricorn coffee, and then we also have the moon. The next big thing is tomorrow night. We have Uranus going to turn direct. That's the opposite of retrograde. Due to the relative motion of the Earth, the planets look like they stop their motion and reverse their direction. And when they stop, that's a big deal. And when the planets change trend, the markets change trend. And so it's Uranus, so it's in the sign of Taurus, the bull. So that's cattle, and Uranus is copper, and Taurus is also cotton, and stocks, of course, for everything. And then we have something big happening here for the U.S. chart, which to the U.S. moon, which is U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and because of the moon, that tends to be very powerful for the U.S. dollar. Something could be happening big for the U.S. dollar. And another thing for the U.S. chart, again, the same stuff, U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and dollar. And then the weekend, the 15th weekend, we have another 2 big top-notch things. Venus at 0 south latitude. When the planets get to 0 latitude, that's often a big change in trend in the markets. And then we also have Jupiter 90 degrees to Uranus, and that's very powerful correlation, a big correlation with the 41-month business cycle and the top highs and lows of the stock market. At the bottom, in the crash of 87, we had Jupiter 120 degrees to Uranus, so you can see how that's an important harmonic there for the stock market and the economy. And so we'll watch for cattle, copper, cotton, oats, and stocks. And then another big point for the U.S. chart again, U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and U.S. dollar. And here's how to get a hold of me. Coming up here, I have swing trading letter. I have day trading letter, service, I have free coaching, I have teaching, astrology course, and here's how to get a hold of me. You're in beautiful Naples, Florida, 239-594-3939. It's Ann Winski at Bark with a Q in the middle, mail.com, and that's Skype Ann Winski _1. So get a hold of me right away, because what we've seen here this week is just a sample of what more big stuff coming up in about a week or so, and at the end of the month, it just keeps coming and coming. It's unbelievable this month, Jeff, so I'm looking forward to helping some of your folks.
Well, I hope so. They can't complain.
And looking forward to talking to you soon.
Well, they can't complain about the price since it's a free class, and I think this is the first month you didn't do 80%, you still did 60%, which would be almost anybody else in the business. So, Norm, I thank you very much. This looks like some very exciting times coming up, and we'll see you back in a couple of weeks.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Okay, bye.